Could Las Vegas be a potential trade destination for center Evgeni Malkin? NHL insider Jeremy Tingley says Vegas, along with the Rangers and Florida, are expected to be at the top of Malkin's list as he enters a contract year at the age of 39. I can't see a long term relationship with VGK, but keep an eye out for Malkin at the deadline. We'll have more ahead on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. I am a longtime sportscaster, a marketing consultant, and the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and the collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Coming up ahead on today's program, Chris has like an eyewitness account of watching VGK on the ice yesterday at City National. And then, of course, who cares you put on the slate? The 30th worst prospect pool for the Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app. Use our promo code LOCKEDONNHL and get $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. So, Chris, no matter what, this looks like Evgeni Malkin's last season in Pittsburgh. If the Penguins don't become contenders, a lot of things are going to change in Pittsburgh, and Malkin makes around $6 million against the cap. VGK could pick him up, I think, at the deadline. But who would be left out of the Golden Knights lineup? I have a theory. Malkin wears number 71, and he is a center.
Oh, God. Continue your theory. Go ahead. Finish that statement, please.
I just threw that out there.
I mean, listen, this is where you kind of start looking down the future here. And I think, like you said, number one, Malkin is $6.1 million against the cap this year. Penguins expected to be another borderline dumpster fire as they were last year, at least as far as the results go. And Malkin at age 39 is going to want to compete for one or more Stanley Cups. Who knows how much he's got left in the tank here. Pardon me. As far as stats, I mean, 50 points last season in 68 games. He played 82 games each of the previous seasons, getting 67 and 83 points. So there's upside to still acquiring a 39-year-old center. Now, again, keyword, he's a center. Malkin has not been listed as a left winger since his rookie 06-07 year when he had 85 points in the National Hockey League. So I don't know where Malkin might fit. Can he play the wing? Would it be a failed wing experiment like Nick Waugh or Tomas Hertl? Who knows? But again, it's a shiny new toy we're talking about. It's the possible prize of the trade deadline. Vegas will kick tires. I mean, they're going to make a deal and be all in on them, pump the brakes a little bit, but tires will be kicked. McCrimmon will at least go to the car dealership and see what's on the lot.
We know that Cassidy does like centers, and he will make it work, contrary to what you say, because maybe Karlsson goes to the wing. Again, they would need more help come the trade deadline. He's a good piece, has that experience, has won 3 cups. Imagine entering the playoffs, though, with Eichel, Malkin, Hertl, and William Karlsson as your 4 centers. That would be very solid.
I mean, William Karlsson in a fourth-line role is very odd to me, but in the same breath, if William Karlsson is your fourth-line center, that is an absolute stacked team with a Colton Sissons, a defensive face-off specialist, also going to be in that same lineup. So, yeah, I mean, that would be a lot of fun. The reality is I don't know if there's a path to it, but injuries happen, things happen. The LTIR loophole is still open for one more season. I'm not suggesting that's part of the plan or anything like that, but you have do have aging veterans on this roster who could sustain injury and free up the money. And Pittsburgh might, depending on the circumstance, might eat a chunk of that salary for the remainder of this. It's only 1 year and he's off the books. So if
Always.
Pittsburgh gets a little sweetener to eat half of that,
They
all
will.
of a sudden it's, we're talking $3 million against the cap, which the Golden Knights can find that.
Yeah, and that would be a McCrimmon special. He gets everyone to retain money. So that would definitely work here in Vegas. And Pittsburgh will probably try to move Malkin at some point of the season. And then, as you mentioned, retain a lot. And he also has a no trade clause, but there are rumors. There's rumors that Malkin would like to play in Las Vegas. And so that all makes sense. Again, you have to contend with the Rangers. Sullivan's there as the new head coach. I don't know what their relationship was like there in Pittsburgh, but that could be a good fit. I don't know how Florida could fit him in, but again,
any cup contender, if they want to find a way to get Malkin and Malkin signs off on it, will find a way. And Edmonton, although Max Pacioretty rumored possibly going to kick some tires in Edmonton, we'll see how that works out. But team like Edmonton, who's just missing that one piece every year, could make a move. The Stars, who are absolutely loaded, if they find a path to $3 million, I mean, there's a million teams that would line up to find a way to get their hands on Malkin. I mean, a team like Seattle, if they're doing something strange, I can't see that happening, but I'm just pointing out that there are other teams in play besides the Golden Knights. But again, like you said, Vegas, Florida would be the two that would probably be the most aggressive at it. And you did mention that relationship, of course, with Sullivan and the New York Rangers. But what are your Rangers going to do? I mean, he's going to want to go. If he's getting traded, it's got to be to a cup contender, not a fringe playoff team, someone who is in a spot, like the Florida Panthers were, like the Oilers have been, like the Golden Knights, like the Stars, etc.
Yeah. And Kyle Dubas there in Pittsburgh, I think this is a class act of an organization. He said the main focus this season is to treat Malkin well. He goes, regardless of what happens, how his career ends, if we have to deal him or whatever, or if he just retires at the end of the season, he's made it known that this should be his last season in Pittsburgh. Regardless, how classy of an organization is that to come out and say, we're going to take care of this guy because of what he's done for this organization.
It reminds me of how Patrick Kane was treated on the way out of the Chicago Blackhawks. It was whatever he wanted to happen was going to happen. Anything that was even being mentioned, rumors, he was in the loop every step of the way. And that's what these players have earned. I don't know if you're going to see this happening in Vegas, depending on who the player is, but that doesn't mean Vegas is any worse. The Vegas is a little more cutthroat than those other organizations that you've mentioned. But the Golden Knights really haven't been in that spot yet where this long time, 20-year player, 15-year player who's been there since day one or day one-ish is getting ready to, ride out into the sunset. Marchessault might have been the closest player that the Golden Knights had, and we saw how that ended. Mark Stone still has some time left in the tank, and Jack Eichel could end up being that player who's been here for, what'll be like 12 plus years or something like that, assuming he does get an 8-year max extension. You see how that, plays out at the end if the Golden Knights are like where the Pittsburgh Penguins are now, which is unlikely because we don't rebuild in Vegas. There's no rebuilding. There's no LTIR rules, and there's no salary cap in Vegas. Tony, did I check all the boxes there for you?
You checked some boxes right there. And to me, this is nothing more than a rental, right? At age 39, trying to go out, No,
it could be more than a rental.
Wow.
I mean, if Malkin, okay, let's just whether it's Vegas, 40, Florida, Edmonton, Dallas, one of these good teams. If they go on to win a cup or they get a real deep run and he's like, hey, I'm 40 years old, I've made probably $150 million from the NHL plus his additional money and everything, I'll take a $2 million contract to try and win one more cup at the age of 40. Like I can see him, it won't be a long extension or anything like that, but I could see him giving a team 1 or 2 additional years if winning a cup is that important to him.
Yeah, and if he is out there at the trade deadline, VGK would want to be involved. They'll figure out a way to fit
Yeah,
him into the
too many
lineup.
centers, too many cooks in the kitchen, but still, you never know.
And Pittsburgh has gone 3 years without making the playoffs, so perhaps they will continue
4
that
years.
run.
4 years probably.
Coming up next, the captain skates have begun at City National. Chris was there. He'll give us his observations as we return on Locked On Golden Knights. College football is so back. And honestly, there's nothing better than the energy of tailgates and being in the stands with your fellow fans. The only downside, well, trying to get tickets, endless queues, hidden fees, prices that jump at checkout, all of that. That's why I use, and Chris as well, we use Gametime. It's the app that gives you the advantage back and gives it back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score a lot of last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. And what you see is what you pay. I pulled up on Gametime in just a couple of taps. I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games as low as $25. You really cannot beat it. And I do love the zone deals too. Pick the section. Gametime picks the seats, and you save big. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets today and do it at Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use that promo code LOCKDOWNNHL. You'll receive $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's the promo code LOCKDOWNNHL. $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, and download Gametime today. Welcome back on this Tuesday edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. Friday's WTF Day. What the Friday? I almost slipped again. And Saturdays, of course, sometimes it's back to school, but it's the Chris times Chris Jr. show. Chris, a sign that perhaps the start of the VGK season is just right around the corner. Players are returning to the ice to work out. And you were there at City National yesterday. Who was out there on the ice for VGK?
Yeah, it was fun. I've been playing my games lately, and we happen to have the ice at 11 a.m. The other ice, the Ghost.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you kicked them off.
No, we didn't kick them off. Ice is ours, boys. Get off the ice. No, that's not how it works. No. So I got to City around 10 o'clock and peeked in the rink because I was just filling up my water bottle. Oddly enough, City National doesn't have water bottle refill water fountains behind the benches. They're in the front where Henderson has them behind the benches. We got to get
that's
this.
Awful.
Yeah, got to get this work done. Bill Gatson's day one. So I get there, William Karlsson, Keegan Kolesar, Reilly Smith, Lazan was out there. I think Sissons was out there. I couldn't 100% tell. Looked like Akira Schmidt. I didn't see Aiden out there, but definitely saw Akira Schmidt, I think. And then from the Dallas Stars, you even had Radek Faxa out there skating for whatever reason. This is actually kind of an interesting time in Vegas because you have the NHL either in town or coming to town for like a good chunk of promo shoots that they will film at Henderson and City Nationals. So if you happen to be hanging out at the right time, they won't let you in the rink during all of this because they're actually filming footage and there's all sorts of effects going on and fire and whatever. And but you just never know who you could run into. I mean, you're talking like McDavid will be here, Celebrini, Bedard, usually all the biggest players will be scared about Vegas for 3, 4, or 5 days or something like that. But yeah, back to the captain skates, nothing too intense going on, just a lot of long cross ice drills and passing just to kind of get the rhythm and the timing back and get some work for the goalies, and a lot of hooting and hollering and just a lot of fun to see the boys out there again.
So this week we won't see the likes of Bruce Cassidy and Mitch Marner, Mark Stone, and Shea Theodore.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
They're at Canadian Olympic orientation, bro.
Okay, you'll see him next week. Okay, fine.
And meanwhile, Jack Eichel, Noah Hannafin at the U.S. Olympic orientation. Come on, man.
No, otherwise they might have been out there.
I was going to say, why the
Well, because for some reason I thought you were saying like the big guns won't go out there until later on.
No. They're all in those meetings air quotes,
Yeah,
beer drinking.
hotel bars are the place to be during all that, I guess, right?
And
Yeah,
might we see them returning after Labor Day? Is that when things really start to kick in?
yeah, and they'll go from wearing the dark practice jerseys to the white practice
They can't
jerseys
wear
because
white.
you
You
can't
you
you
cannot
can't wear
wear
white.
white after Labor Day.
Dang it, that explains why they're wearing the dark one. They should have been wearing white then yesterday.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's fun to watch. And the cool thing about it is if you're going to just be a fan and watch and enjoy it. I was the only person in the rink. There was not. It was me and a bunch of the Golden Knight players. I'm sure the VGK organization was up in the window, like, "What's he doing back
They
here?"
had the
But
binoculars out.
no, they probably did have the binoculars out
Facial
there. But
recognition when you walked in. I know.
like Monday would be a great day if the players are around for if they're going to be on for Labor Day. If the kids are off school over the weekend, just peek in there. I think they have the ice from like 10 to 11 or something like that. Basically, on a daily basis, as the Silver Knights, they even have to have ice locked up for the Henderson Silver Knights every day of the year as well. I think from like 10:30 to 11:30 or something like that as well. But I'm sure if you were there with your kids and wanted to get an interaction, I'm sure a puck would have been tossed over and a picture and maybe an autograph afterwards or something like that. So this is the time to go because you know what happens once the practices come. The team blasts them on social. There's 1,000 people in the stands, and it's kind of hard to get that personal moment. But even if you're not going with kids, if you want to go yourself, just enjoy the hockey. It's amazing to be that close to watching these players at their craft and how easy they make it look. And of course, that resonates with me because I'm back on the ice 2-3 days a week, playing with the old dudes right now. We're having a great time doing it. And, I'm watching William Karlsson accept probably a 50-mile-an-hour pass that he just juggles between his feet, and it's on his skate, and he's going full speed. And then, and when I'm doing my warm-ups, I get a pass for about 18 miles an hour, and it flubs off the toe of my stick, and it's between my legs. I can't see it, and it's yeah. So it's awesome to watch, and it's inspiring if you do skate, I guess, to a degree, and it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. That's it. It's fun.
I think I want to see you and Lausanne play like that beer league hockey thing that they did last year. Come on, man. You got to try. Ask them. I mean, you're out there.
It would be tough. It would be tough. It would be fun. It would be fun.
So
we had some rough stuff in our game yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Some of the boys were getting a little feisty out there. We had a younger guy out there. He didn't like when he kind of got tripped up at the blue line, but it was kind of a stick battle, and he gets up and kind of got in one of the elders' faces, and he's like, "Dude, what are you gonna do?" And that was pretty funny.
That was
guys.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It was a good
Don't
time.
mess with the older dudes.
No, this guy would have pummeled them if he would have made a move. It would have been great.
So we've got again, it's almost reporting time. Rookies have their camp September the 12th for 1 day and 1 day only. That's when they report. And then the 13th through the 16th, they're playing in the rookie face-off in Denver. And then VGK, the first game is September the 21st against the Sharks. They don't need any prep for that, but that's a Sunday. They'll probably report on that Thursday and get a couple of days in, and then they're playing a game suddenly. We've always talked about those preseason camps in hockey. It's a day or two and you're off to the races, and then let's make some adjustments there.
And that's good. I mean, you don't need a lot of work right there. And you do see what happens in NFL camps. NFL has shortened things a lot, but you're still watching players drop like flies, non-contact injuries and stuff, and eliminate the risk, right? I mean, these players have been working out, as we know, going back to August the 25th now, and they've been going before that. You've seen the cars going in and out and stuff. These guys stay in shape all year round, and the Golden Knights, a lot of vets, right? You probably have no players competing to make a roster spot out of Henderson and anywhere else where the Golden Knights have players under contract. More on that in this terrible third segment coming up. But it's just NHL vets, longtime players, just go get your timing back. And throughout the season is kind of when you work out the kinks more than the preseason or the preseason games.
Okay, so Akira, no goalie out there? Were there any?
There's two goalies, but one was not Hill, and they were both in VGK gear and stuff. So I don't know who would the other one have been even.
It could be
It wasn't a friend of the program, the bubbly guy from Savannah. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank on it.
Moisevich is that up and coming goalie. Was there a 6'5" dude like in
No,
there?
but it's funny. I got a note to talk about Moisevich. That's funny you mentioned that.
Okay, well, we'll do that in our next segment. But yeah, no numbers, of course, so you couldn't tell who they were.
Helmets, and their gloves had the stitching and stuff. That's how
My
I
favorite
spotted
drill
those on
is
and stuff.
My favorite drill, to be honest with you, is the tip drill, like in front of the net where they
Yeah.
just tip it in. No Reeves sightings because he's been out there working out.
No,
No.
Reeves wasn't out
Okay.
there, but there was. I told you from the Stars player was out there, and you'll see random players out there just jumping out there.
Coming up next, VGK ranks 30th, no shocker, 30th worst in the prospect pool. We'll talk about that as we return on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas, as we do nearly every day over the summer. We'll take Wednesday off and be back Thursday, unless some big news breaks. We have an important request. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and what makes your podcast tick and what can we do to make them even better. Some say get rid of one of the hosts here. And this is your chance to tell us what you like and what you don't like. And again, you can answer questions about our advertising and so on. So take the survey today. It is at lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Again, lockedonpodcast.com/survey and enter for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Do that today.
I like the Amazon gift card side.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Don't forget Friday's WTF Day. Please subscribe.
30 seconds.
Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel.
I can make $100 disappear on Amazon faster than $100 at the craps table. And if you see me play craps, that's something.
VGK, how are the Golden Knights not ranked absolutely last? They're 30th, and the two teams below them are the Oilers and the Avalanche. And so the Athletics putting out its list, and it's the NHL pipeline rankings, but they only did like the bottom 6 or 8 teams to start off with, and VGK is right smack there towards the bottom. VGK, as we know, just one major, or as they might call it, a top-tier prospect, and that's Trevor Connolly. Don't know about his injury here. Haven't heard a word. Left winger, and he is a top-tier player who could see action maybe, perhaps as soon, if things go well for him in Henderson, if he's healthy and such, maybe as soon as this season to bring him up for a taste.
I mean, I think ranking him 30th or a C-, whatever the ranking was that they put out there, I think is a bad ranking. And I'll say that because those players in that prospect pool, some or many, will be flipped for NHL caliber talent, whether it's this year or next year or the year thereafter. These players will be flipped for NHL ready players who will likely be flipped for players who exceed what's in the current talent pool right there. So I get you're looking at the face value of the players and everything. And of course, Connolly's going to get the most attention. I don't know if he's going to compete for a roster spot. He'll go through the camp and everything. And if he forces his way onto the roster, which would be absolutely amazing if the Golden Knights had no choice but to make space for him or any player coming out of camp for that matter. It's unlikely that happens, but give him a full season in Henderson. And if the stars align or don't align, might be a better way to say it, where he needs to come up to the Golden Knights for maybe to get a little experience, maybe to, or maybe to be showcased, maybe is a better way to say that.
Sure.
And you'll just kind of see how it all works out. But you mentioned Moisevich, and I talked about him a while back, and he just had some jaw-dropping stats. KHL player,
he's
BHL
massive
as well.
He's huge. He's 6'5". They say he's smart and athletic.
Yeah, no, I remember just some stats jumped out at me. KHL in 23-24 with St. Petersburg, only 13 appearances, but a .942 save percentage. And that same,
Jeez.
I say same, but I don't know how the roster changed, but 18 games the next season, 898. And then he's played just 5 games with looks like Neva SKA. Forgive me if I'm butchering that, and a 926 save percentage. So you look at this and you see, I mean, it's some playoff stats, 846 in 24-25, but he's a project. He's 20 years old and he's been around the KHL now since he's been 18 years old. So curious to see if he does make the trip. Hopefully he'll be here for the rookie camp. That would be a player worth definitely watching a little bit.
Yeah. You were talking earlier. I think you meant to say Jordan Papirny. Is that the goal?
Papirny, Paps. Thank you. God, yeah. Paps is awesome. I miss Paps. He was fun.
I didn't want to interrupt you. Like you have the flow, sure. That flow going. Like
I have no
the
flow.
rappers do.
You see any flow up here?
I see flow.
No flow.
So Jordan Gustafsson, some other names. Gustafsson is out there. Has had some injury issues. Two-way setter, and perhaps makes his mark there in Henderson this season. And then you've got Jacob Wozniak, the draft pick.
Thank you. I was going to talk about him. Thank you.
It's Wozniak, right? I think so. Top Swedish junior league player, number 55 pick overall, 6'2", $190, and a right winger.
Who's ever been yapping about us talking about the draft and stuff? This is your moment right now, just so you know. I forgot who's been talking to us on Twitter. Talk about the draft. Talk about the draft.
They enjoyed our draft coverage.
There you go. This is our draft coverage. But Wozniak
this is our draft coverage right here. A few months later,
August 26th. Yeah, it's slow news day. But I mean, 57 points in the Swedish Junior League. I'm assuming that's what SWEGR stands for. 57 points, 23
I want
and
him
34.
On the IKEA line. This guy.
What's that?
I want him on the IKEA line. Let's
put him on the IKEA line. There you go. I mean, he looks like Zach Whitecloud. You look at him closely, like he looks like a younger Zach Whitecloud at 18 years old. Born February 1st, so just a heads up about that in case you're logging that at home. 18 years old. Again, player to watch and see if next 2 or 3 seasons, see how he develops. Cataford's name comes up. I watched him a couple games last year in the American League. I just liked his game. I liked his game. He played big. He played physical. He played tough on the puck. Sometimes when younger players, they make that jump to the American League, they just kind of get lost and they're out there just, trying to find a path to get touches. But the game kind of the game went to Cataford, meaning he was in the proper positioning. He found ways to have an effect on every shift he was out there. So I think he's someone to watch very closely. 77th pick in round 3 of the 2023. Born March 1st, so things get confusing around the leap years and stuff for Cataford. He might really be 21 and a half by now.
He's either a Pisces or on the cusp.
Whatever. A Euron, a player who I spotted at a camp probably 2 years ago in Vegas.
Tuamas.
Yeah, no, these Tuamas and Tomash. We got a lot of weird Toms in this town.
Tuamas
here. But fast dude, and obviously just continues to improve as time goes on. 90 points in the OHL. That's something that's notable. That's definitely very notable. See, again, I don't anticipate him making a jump. I mean, round 6, 192. It's flirting with Mr. Irrelevant territory, and maybe a possible McCrimmon or a scout special.
Yeah. Some other players they have on their projected to play list. You mentioned Cataford, Matthias Sapovaliv, the center, not this year, but again, they just get swallowed up in the AHL. But maybe, perhaps, with any injuries or what have you, we might see some new faces this year. Jacob Rabanitz, he's been toiling there in the AHL for a minute or two.
I mean, it sounds like the future third line of the Shanghai Dragons here we're talking about. Everyone keeps jumping ship to the KHL. But, I mean, I guess Ryan Craig, I'm really curious to see how this season plays out for him. Craig wants an NHL bench. That's probably why he took the job with Henderson, to take the demotion / promotion to go down there. Probably paid him less money like they keep doing to people in the organization to do so. But will these players continue to develop? Will these become assets to the Golden Knights, whether they're in the Vegas Golden Knights lineup in a year or two, or trade assets where people are looking at these as prized prospects that they're willing to trade some NHL talent for? And there are some good players that we mentioned in there. I mean, I don't know how you come up with the rank of 30th on this list. There are some, again, these are players that are being developed, not developed talent. So maybe the better way to evaluate this is in 3 or 4 years from now, if we are, if a couple of these players are in the top 6 or, top D pairing or something like that for the Golden Knights.
And who went to Shanghai? So Bischoff's there.
Bischoff, Quinney, Spencer Fu, former American League player.
Okay.
I think he was drafted by the Calgary Flames in 2017 or 2016. And yeah, we'll just see who else goes there, I guess.
Keep those videos coming. I'm very much entertained. We appreciate you
tuning in.
I'm getting
a Shanghai Dragons jersey the second I find one. I'm getting it.
You got to do it. We appreciate you tuning in, especially our everydayers, and to all the folks in Shanghai tuning in as well. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco. We'll see you on Thursday unless some big news breaks right here on Locked On Golden Knights, and please take care.